This is how you're going to build a rig from start to finish. So this goes from 16 to 1. And this plugs into your motherboard, and this is where your card goes.
And you can plug a 1X into a 16X, a 5X, or,
right, it doesn't matter.
Or a 1X.
Right. So now we take our USB, this is 3.0, they're all like that, and you plug it into the back of your riser. And then, so this is your card and this is your motherboard, okay? It sends the info to here and back and forth. You just buy this off the shelf, so go to your local place and try to buy as many of these PCIe 16 and 1X slots that you can, okay? The more you can get, the more GPUs you can hook up, and the more gamers are going to want this in the end. So we're going to put that below here, below our riser cable. So remember, all we've got is riser set up, and the cables. Core i5. Yep, here we go. You guys know what a processor is. CPU, right? Central processing unit. Okay.
They want to know if the processor has to be the latest generation.
It does not.
It does
But
not.
it does help.
These are the latest generation
those
processors.
processors down there are 5 years old.
At least.
Right? At least. And they're still running. Okay, now what you do is you take your processor and you're going to line it up. Be very careful. Try not to touch the bottom at all, if at all possible. Now these are the same, right? You just go like that.
The triangles. You're matching the triangles.
Yeah.
And the triangle is in the light. It's this corner.
Yep.
Right here is a triangle.
Okay, so we're going to drop that down in there. There you go. I go like this just to make sure it's secure. Okay. And then you take your door here.
You gotta
and
take
you
the plastic part off.
No.
watch
no.
this.
There you go.
Check it out.
It pops out.
Boom. Like magic. Okay. So now our processor's hooked up. Now see that right there? It's already got some thermal paste. So we're gonna put that thermal right under
You
here.
guys are standing in the way of the light, so they can't
Uh-oh.
really see.
Uh-oh. Don't stand in the way of the
We have
light.
so much light down here, but not right over the table anymore.
Oh. Oh, John's hooking up in the light.
There we go. John's hooking us up with the light.
Thank you.
Heisenberg. Refer to him as his proper name, Jared.
Alright, so once you get your fan stuck in there, be careful, you don't want to break those
No,
clips.
they stay straight.
What?
They stay straight. You're turning.
And that is preferred, but it might be one of those old school things. Put it closest to the processor. Alright?
How much RAM do you need?
Well, that depends on how many graphics cards you want to hook up. So I would definitely start with 4 gigabytes if you're going to hook up 1 or 2 cards. But if you're going to go with 5 or 6 cards,
Or 8.
or 8, because Andy's building 8 here, then we're going to want to get 8 gigs of RAM. I don't think you need anything more than that right now. People are going to want to know
The
that.
board does.
The board comes with this.
With the M2 standoff.
All right, remember that, guys.
And
The
you're not
board
here.
board comes with this, but not on this. So don't lose this.
Put your screw back in there.
Okay.
It's rocket science here.
So this is just hand tight.
It's motherboard
You don't
surgery.
want to damage your motherboard by doing this. So is this the right screw?
So the green part that we're putting on, this is just an M2 to PCIe adapter. So it's allowing us to add another PCIe slot to get our full 8 cards on these rigs.
There we go. Our viewers can be particular because they give us super chats, they subscribe, they like this. They can be as particular as they want. They want more lighting, they get it. They want better video, they get it. They want better audio,
We're
they
working
get it.
on it.
All right? You get whatever you want here at Digital Gold. We just give it to you.
Risers.
Why does this have power? People are going to want to know this. See,
It
this
has
is great.
extra power if you're not using powered risers.
Okay.
So if you're putting something in that needs to draw power from the board, then you need to add power to it. But we're using powered risers, so we don't need any power on the...
Because our risers have SATA.
Right, so we're getting our power off of the
So if
risers.
somebody couldn't afford a riser cable with power, they would have to use this.
Correct, if you're using the old unpowered ones.
Now what you could do is you don't need to buy risers. People that build a rig could just put a card on here. I don't know if we want to try that first.
One card will
Just-
fit on there.
just do
How
one
do they
card.
work?
You
You
could
wanna
do
do
one
that?
on one. You could do like 2.
You can do whatever you want. I mean, that's what we've
Alright,
been
so we'll
running.
do one card for everybody. Maybe you can't afford to get, 8 cards at once and build this insane rig.
Or you're building yourself a gaming rig and
Or-
you're not going
yeah,
to
or-
be.
That's right.
Where's
Look
our
at
hard
how hot
drive?
it is
Where's
down
our
there.
hard drive? Come on around.
Now,
looking
Andy,
for
why
it.
did you go with this type of hard drive? And do you
'Cause-
have to use this type of hard drive?
No, you can just use a regular solid state drive, but I went with those because I liked that it was nice and neat. And in Windows, you can't put another adapter on and run 9 cards anyway.
Right.
So I went with the M2 drives because I don't have another drive hanging off. It's all
Okay.
very compact and neat, and
Okay.
they were about the same price. They weren't too bad. How much money do all these parts cost?
Well, you don't have to buy this expensive stuff.
But you're not going to run 8 cards on a board without buying a more
You
expensive
got
board.
you got to put your money in.
So
Andy, can you say a little bit about how much this costs?
yeah, I mean with the PSUs, so I'm running 2 850 PSUs.
Okay.
The board, these CPUs are KB Lake i5s.
Okay.
I chose to go with a little bit better processor for the future, and if I use it for something else, and I'm mining with the CPU,
Okay.
so it's paying itself off in about a year.
Okay.
But all in all, there's about $700 involved with the risers and the board and everything just for this.
Okay. So just all this.
Right,
So we're good to hook up our power now, aren't we?
right.
All right, so a lot of people that have built rigs over the years with us have said, oh, I need a power supply, I need a power supply. It's always been like a big issue. So spend the money, get a nice power supply, get some extra wattage. You want about 10 to 20% free. And Andy, what'd you go with, an 850 here?
These are 850s, yeah.
Gold standard, don't go cheap buying the silver, stuff like that. Okay, so another good thing is these big power supplies have lots of PCIe. All right.
All right, there we are.
MB, motherboard, okay? So, motherboard's gonna be right over here. See all those line up just perfectly? And then you just wait till it clips in. Alright, now this end goes to your power supply, and guess what it says on that end? MB, common sense guys, here we go. So now you go MB there, and MB there. One thing you gotta remember, these two split ends is preferred to go into the motherboard, and then the harder straight end, which doesn't have split ends, goes into the power supply.
Why is that, Jared?
Well, because some motherboards allow you to split your power, and it's actually probably rated differently.
It's for smaller motherboards, I think, that only require 4 power.
Right, so there you go. Now we're in our power supply, and we're gonna hook up one graphics card. 580 4GB card, okay? So you can pick this up for pretty reasonable. It's got your one power slot, and it looks great. I mean, this isn't going to cost you more than $400, okay? It shouldn't. And what you do is you slide it in your slot. Once again, I'm one of those guys that likes to hook it in closest to the motherboard. Look how easy that was. Just slid it right in there, nice and strong, not going to go anywhere. Now you hook in your power to this. Okay. Oh. Let's put this together.
Are there any ASIC chips designed for ether mining?
No, it was supposed to be ASIC proof. However,
And you can plug it into the 1X or the 16X slot.
look at that.
It doesn't
So
matter.
it slides into the 1X, and there's another riser, and you can slide it into the 16X. Doesn't matter. You don't need this extra lane back here. It doesn't matter. It's only
Mining
going to
does
send
not
it.
use the bandwidth.
Right, it doesn't need all this data in the bandwidth. So we're just plugging this in to show you. We'll rack these and stack them later, but we just want to show you that you can plug that in just fine, and just fine, you'll be mining.
See, we're putting a little power switch on to make it a lot easier to power.
Back in the day, you didn't have this option.
And then all you have is a little switch.
Okay?
It's just like the one in your case, but it's in your hands instead of a button on the case.
Oh, we need to update the BIOS on these on
Okay.
this board too.
We're
And
live.
the fans are
I
moving.
guess we could just go.
We're live. Our rig is on.
It's
Look at
noisy.
those fans.
It is noisy. So what we got here is the board we set up for you guys on the live stream. And what we wanted to do is show you the software side of things. Remember we added the M2 chip, the M2 riser, the 8 gigs of RAM, the Intel. Now we're running it through this monitor here, right? So of course we got to hook up our keyboard and mouse.
And our fan has to be.
Correct, run correctly. And we're going to show you the software side of things. So you don't have any GPUs hooked in at all right now.
Nope, no GPUs hooked in to begin with.
You're running off of the board's
Just run right off the board. Graphics.
Okay.
Alright, so we're in the BIOS. Now we're going to go over to the advanced mode and then scroll on over here to tools. And the first thing we're going to do is update the BIOS of the board. And we're going to do it via internet. You just scroll over, enter, yes, we want to do this. It's going to reboot and come back up. We get to wait for it to do its thing.
And it comes automatically, huh?
It's going to automatically come back on, yep.
But the BIOS knows to update? It doesn't ship from the factory updated?
It doesn't ship from the factory updated right now because they've updated the BIOS since it started shipping.
Okay.
Alright, so now we're again selecting via internet, yes, DHCP. We're just clicking on through here. We may have to actually click on it. Nope, there we go. Alright, do you want to download this file and update it? Yes, we do. So we're going to click OK. It's downloading the BIOS currently. Do you really want to update the BIOS? Yes, we do. To the March 22nd, 2017 edition is what it is. And now we're going to wait for it to process the BIOS through. After this, it's going to restart and bring us back up.
So this is the board we're using here. And is there any particular reason why you went with this board, Andy?
I went with these boards because the Z270 chipset with the Intel chips here can support 8 cards. So we're running on 7 PCIEs and then 1 M2 adapter to get 8 cards out of it. Which we could try for 9, but right now Windows isn't supporting that.
Okay.
So we're using M2 drives in that second M2 slot. Alright, so now it's updated successfully. You saw that on the screen, and now it's going to reboot on its own again. And we're waiting for it to come back on up to the black screen here. Alright, so now the BIOS is updating. You don't want to shut it down or reset the system or anything. You just let it do its thing. It's going to reboot again. Here it comes back on.
You gotta be patient.
It's patience. There we go. So it's loading back up. We haven't messed anything up and killed it. Alright, so we're entering setup to recover the BIOS setting. We're all set, so we're clicking F1 to run setup. And now our BIOS are all updated.
Wow.
We're back on.
That's awesome.
It's incredible. So we're back up and we're in the BIOS here. You're going to click F7 or scroll over to the advanced mode. Alright, DMI, OPI configuration. Max link speed. We're going to change this to Gen 2. We're going to go back up and out, back one screen, down to the peg port configuration. Again, we want to change this to Gen 2. Down again, Gen 2, and again, Gen 2, or disabled here in this one. Now we're going to scroll back up over to the advanced and out, PCH configuration, PCIe Express configuration, PCI speed, again, we want to change to Gen 2 to keep this board as stable as we can. Now we're back out to the main advanced screen. Alright, I think that's all we need to change in here for now. The next thing that I change is with the boot. I want fast boot enabled. Next boot after AC power loss is fast boot to keep it running. And we change our post delay time to 0 seconds so that it will come back on. And then this is the most important step for these boards probably is down here at the above 4G decoding. You have to change this from disabled to enabled. If you don't change that, the board's not going to run with 8 GPUs on it, no matter what you do. So we've enabled that. Now we're going to go back up out here, scroll over to exit. We want to save changes and reset. It shows us a list of all the changes that we've made, and we say, okay, that's great, let's change it. Setting in the BIOS, down here at APM configuration, restore AC power after power loss, power on, and we're going to exit Save changes and reset. Okay.
Oh, this is prior to Windows.
Prior to Windows, we're updating we're getting everything set just with the board, no Windows yet. Alright, so our BIOS is all back up and running. Our board should be good to go. Our next step will be to get Windows installed on it, which we'll do next year. Alright, so we've got our BIOS all updated. Now we've got Windows 10 Professional on our jump drive, all ready to go.
Now, what kind of jump drive is that?
It's just a regular 4 gigabyte
4 gigabyte,
Memorex,
real school, old school.
old school USB 2.0.
So that's all you needed is.
Jump drive.
Okay.
Just a cheap little jump drive.
All right.
Big minimum though.
And we've got it.
And we've got it right here. Alright, so we've got Windows in.
Still no GPUs on here.
Still no GPUs on here. I want to leave them off until we're
Okay.
ready to go. Alright, so now I'm going to come down here to exit the BIOS, F10. You've not made changes to the BIOS settings. Okay. We'll be patient. And now we're going to reboot. And when we reboot, it should load to the Windows install from the jump drive. Alright, we want English, United States keyboard, install now, and now setup is starting. And we're getting Windows all set up on this room.
Nope. We gotta put in our key.
We need our key. We got our key in. We're going to agree to the licensing terms. We probably should read them, but we're just going to keep going. Alright, now we want to install Windows on our drive 0. And now it's getting ready. So it's going to be a few minutes and copy Windows on. And
So where did you get this key from?
I bought it online from KingDoWin.net, I believe it is.
Can we go to that website?
Here, I'll pull it up. Got it here. Go, KingDoWin.net. And when you come closer,
Got it.
you can see it. And Windows 10 Professional OEM key right here. You can buy it from $28.19.
Okay.
Good way to keep your rigs activated with legit Windows.
Yeah, very good idea.
inexpensively.
Let's put a link in the Facebook for everyone.
This is all loaded. Now it says we want a region. Yes, we're in the United States. Yes, the keyboard input is right for the US. No, I don't want to have a second keyboard. Alright, we're connected. It's checking for updates. It'll probably be a while. Nope, just a moment, but just a moment can stay forever. Alright, I want to set this up for personal use. No, I don't want to create an account. I want to use an offline account. No, I don't want to do that. So we are. Got a name in here. No, Cortana, we don't want to use you. No, I don't want you watching any of my stuff or what I'm doing. We'll help them fix their errors, that's it. And yet it still insists on talking to us. Alright, now we wait several minutes or longer while it gets everything ready for us.
So now that Windows is done, we're doing the latest drivers, huh?
We are. We're installing the latest drivers. They're extracting right now, and at the same time I'm downloading the 16.11.5 AMD drivers, which are unsigned drivers from them. So we're still extracting the latest, which is the 17.6.2. Alright, and now it's going to pop up and install. We're just going to X out of that. We don't need it to install. And now again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to extract the 16.11.5 drivers.
So 2 different drivers or one?
2 different drivers. It's confusing to you, isn't it, Jared? Why are we doing this?
Just repeating.
I don't know.
Making sure we're all clear out there.
Alright, and again, we're going to X out of this because we don't need to let it analyze and install. We're going down to this PC, our C drive, in the AMD folder. Now you can see that we've extracted the 17.6.2 and the 16.11.5. Now we're going to go in here to the 16.11.5, go to the packages, drivers, display, continue on through here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to select all of our drivers in this folder, all of our files, and we're going to copy them. Now we're going to go back up out to our main AMD folder, where our drivers are at. Now we're going to go to the 17.6.2, and we're going to go to the same destination. Packages, drivers, display, continuing on in. And now what we're going to do is paste in our files from our 16.11.5 drivers into the 17.6.2 drivers, just like this. Yes, we want to replace the files in the destination. And now we patch the driver together. Now the reason for this is that the AMD drivers don't seem to want to run more than 5 cards in Windows this way. So in order to do this, to get all 8 cards up and running, what would happen is when we were using just the 17.6.2, we'd plug it in and get it up and running. 5 would be good. As soon as you had the 6th card, we'd get blue screen of death and it would crash and go nuts and Windows would try and repair itself. Well, the fix for that, which this came from someone else on YouTube, just searching around, was to put the drivers together and create yourself a hybrid here that will now work well.
So don't
for
replace them,
computers.
just add them.
You're just adding it, but it's replacing the files
Okay.
in the other driver.
Right, okay.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Alright, so now we've got that all up and running. Our drivers are set, so we should be good to go. Now we're going to shut down, and we're going to add a GPU and see what happens. Alright, so now we've got it shut down. We've got our drivers all installed. We've got an MSI Armor RX 580. This is an 8 gig card, I believe. Yep, it's an 8 gig card. We're going to plug in our power here. And we're not going to use our risers yet, just to get it up and running. We're going to plug it into the board and get it running on here. So we're just lining it up. We've got to make sure we have enough room on our motherboard for our card to go in here. Alright, there we go. We just set it down into our slot, and now we should be good to go. Now, if you remember, back in the BIOS, we set our board to come on with power restore. So at this point, we don't even need our power switch anymore. We're just clicking on our power supply, and our board will come to life. Windows, we've got our card installed. We go in here to Device Manager. See what's going on. So we've got our Microsoft Basic Display Adapter. See if it will let us. Alright, now we want to update our driver. We're going to browse the computer for the software manually. We're browsing. We're going to come down here again to C, AMD. Now remember, we have our 16.11.5 and our 17.6.2. So this time we're going to choose 17.6.2. Come down to Packages, Drivers, in the right spot, Packages, Drivers, Display, and this should be far enough to get us to our driver. Okay, next, it's installing our driver. Now it's popping up here and it says Windows can't verify the publisher of this driver software because we've combined the 2 drivers together in order to get a working driver for 8 cards. So we're just going to click install this driver software anyway, and we continue on and let Windows do its thing to keep installing our driver software. Alright, Windows has successfully updated our drivers, and look at that. Now we've got our RX 580 installed. We'll shut it down again and keep adding some cards to this. Alright, so we've got our second card on here, our MSI RX 580 we installed first. Jared always likes to put those in the first PCIe slot. I didn't do that. So we added our power color card here. Now we've got our board set to auto power restore, so we just click our PSU on and our board comes to life. Alright, so Windows is back on because of our super fast solid state drives. And again, we're going to go over here to Device Manager just to check it out and see what's going on. Head up here to Display Adapters. And it shows Video Controller right here that it's looking for it. So we'll give Windows a second, see if it finds it. It should install it to the same driver. There we go. It found our second RX 580. And because we already had our drivers installed and pointing to the right direction, it just picked it up and installed it and got ready to go for us. Alright, so now that we have 2 cards in and installed, we're going to restart because we want to make sure that our drivers are good to go. So we're just going to restart it. Alright, so Windows is back up. Let's check one more time just to make sure we're good in Device Manager here. We come over to our display adapters, and just like that. Now we still have our onboard graphics showing because I'm plugged into it still, but we've got our RX 580s both showing up and running here, so we should be good to go. And both of them, if we go in here and look at them, are running, see it shows with the latest driver. Again, because we patched them together and made it work, and they should be working perfect. So now, just to show you how you can get going mining, we're going to come over here and go over to the NiceHash website. This is really plug and play as far as this end goes. And we're going to get our miner downloaded. Where's our download?
So,
Getting cell.
green.
Green, cell hashing power, there we go. Green, alright. Now we want to download the NiceHash Miner, free Windows software for CPU, GPU mining. We're going to click download that, and download it for Windows. Yes, we understand. Download now. Alright, so NiceHash is downloading our zip file. It's done, so we just click on it. We'll get Windows or Chrome out of the way. Now, when you double click on anything here, it's going, whoops. Not that one. We have to extract it. Alright, we're going to click on NiceHash and it'll automatically come up. You can right click and extract, or just click on it and it'll come up and extract all. I like to put it over to the desktop for these rigs just so that it's right there. Selecting that folder, and now we're going to extract our files out to our desktop. Alright, and just like that, NiceHash is extracted. Just come down here to our NiceHash miner, put my little link down here so it's easier when I'm coming in. Click our shortcut, download and install this feature. There we are. Accept the terms of use, yes in English. Alright, and then you're agreeing to third-party mining software. So they're using Claymore, which you could use on your own as well as you get more into this. But just to get started, this is Claymore's all configured through NiceHash. We're simply clicking I agree. We're going to use that. We're going to wait for it to download and check all of it and download the miners. It's going to get them set up now. Alright, now since I'm using these fancy i5 processors, I like to mine with them. If we're using NiceHash anyway, it'll pay for itself eventually. So now I just click it to select it. We've got our CPU and then our two RX 580s. And now we're going to click start, but it says, hang on a second, you need to put in your Bitcoin address. So we're going to grab our Bitcoin address and put it in. We'll be right back with that. Got our Bitcoin address in here so that it's happy. Again, now we're going to press start, and it's going to pop up and say, wait a second, there's unbenchmarked algorithms. So we're going to click yes, we want to benchmark, and come up here. Now it's going to, it's benchmarking on our CPU, and then it's going to benchmark for each one of our graphics cards. So this is going to be a bit. Our CPU is done. Now it's going to move on to our graphics cards. And this enables it to switch back and forth between whatever's the most profitable. This is why NiceHash is plug and play, because it will see what's profitable and keep going with what you want to mine at. Alright, so we're all done benchmarking these two cards on our CPU. Everything's turned green. Now it's telling us all benchmarks have been successful. Great, okay. We could have clicked start mining after benchmark, but I wanted you to see what happened. Now we're going to click close and just go over here to start. And now, based on its benchmarking, NiceHash has figured out which miner is the best to use. So these are two RX 580s. It's bringing up a dual miner right now to mine for Ether and Decred at the same time. And there we go. We're connected, setting the DAG. Now we're getting going, mining. New job. And we're going to start printing money right now. There it is. Share of Ether, Decred. Just like that, we're up and running and making money right now.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible, huh?
That's remarkable.
That quick.
Already at $6 a day.
Almost 7.
Remarkable.
So we'll tweak these cards some more. We're going to keep adding some more cards up to the top. But without a whole lot of work, we just got our rig Windows installed, our BIOS all set, we got our drivers installed, and now we have 2 cards up and running. And we're just going to add some risers and keep adding cards and going with it. I think we have enough for 7 cards on this rig right now. So we're going to stick 7 cards up there, maybe 8, depending on what we can scrounge up, and we'll just get mining here. It's going to be a good day at the Digital Gold LLC mine here somewhere on the East Coast.
Mine 4.0.
Mine 4.0. It's beautiful. Hashtag miner life.